Hey guys, welcome back to another Unity tutorial. Today I'm going to show you guys some of the basic things you can do with triggers, from audio to enabling and disabling an object to playing an animation and a little bit more. So before we begin, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to show you how to do is enable and disable a object. So this one is pretty simple. So first you want to get a ground to stand on. So, you can just reset the position up here on transform, click these three dots, right click, reset. And this is our ground, and make sure it has a mesh collider. Now what we're going to do, we're going to create some folders. So go into assets, then right click, click create, and then folder. So this folder we're going to name materials. Duplicate that, right click and click rename, name the scripts, and then right click again, then duplicate that, right click again, rename audio. So this audio part, it's going to be a little bit more in the tutorial. Also, if you want to just skip ahead, there'll be timestamps on the screen right now to when the other parts of whatever you want begin. So just skip to that. So first, what we're going to do is get player movement, because we can't really activate a script without that. So I'm just going to get a basic movement system. Okay, so here's the movement script right here if you want to just copy that. Also, I'll put a link in the description to this. So what you want to do, on in a capsule. This is going to be our player. So up here in the transform, click the three dots and click reset, and I'll bring it up here. Alright, so now we have our player. So up here, you can just rename it player. And go ahead and drag your main camera up here into it. And on here, go to three dots and click reset. So this will basically, what it does, it resets the camera into the center of our player capsule. So now what we want to do, since the camera's in like the stomach, you just want to grab this green arrow and just drag it up here. This is our head. So you can put this wherever you want, and it will be facing the blue arrow. So if we were to rotate it, it looks up and down, click left, right, all that. So also, if you want, just to make it look nicer, you can scale this, the X and the Z, to 0.5. So now what you can also do, if you type up here into the Y1, it will make it above the ground so you can get more of a reference for things, like if you want to add a door. Now, add a rigid body, close all this, and drag your player movement script into here. Increase the X and Z rotation, and then turn speed, turn that up to, I'll do 45, 40. Move speed, turn that up. And this is a basic one, so you can't look up and down with it, but I'm not going to need that. So I might make another tutorial similar to this, where it's a good advanced player movement, but this is just really basic. So I'm gonna actually turn this up to 90. Movement, I'm gonna turn that down to 8. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger by changing the X and the Z. So now it's kind of hard to tell the difference between our player and the ground. So in your materials folder, right click, create, then material right here. You should make that ground. Drag it onto here. And on the right over here, you have all this stuff. There's only one thing you have to worry about here, which is this. So you can just scale down, dark, white, whatever you want. I'm gonna do a gray. And if you want it to look a little different, you can change the metallicness up, the smoothness. But I'm just going to turn the smoothness all the way up. So there are other things here. As you can see, there's this, metallic, normal map, height map. So I'll probably discuss this in a later tutorial, perhaps. But we're just gonna leave it like this for now. Now that we have this, we also have our player here. Now if we head in save the game, Control S. Now we can move around, we can walk, all that. So that it's walking. And also to make it a little bit easier to tell what direction your player is looking, you can also add a block to act as glasses. So what you can do, you can drag this in the main camera, reset it, and it should just line up. So another thing, you can scale that. You have little glasses. So if you want, you can draw and create material glasses. Drag it onto it. And I'm just make mine completely black. And there. So another problem that might occur is if you have walls here, there'll be some clipping thing where you can see through it. So just go into main camera, right here where it's near, and it's 0.01. And that should fix it. Now we have movement. You can see it work. We have glasses, so we got a reference to where the player's looking. Now it's time for the actual triggers. So there are different things you can do. So you right click, there's create empty, 3D object, all this stuff. So you can do any of these, or you can also do create empty. But for this, I'm just gonna use cube, simple, easier. So also, I want to bring that up to 0.5. So this will be our trigger. So what are we going to be triggering? So I'm going to name this trigger 1. And then it's going to be door 1. So actually how to make it look like a door, over here in scale, you can change the Y to 2. And up here, change the Y to 1. And then you have pretty much a door. If you want, you can scale the Z down a little bit, probably like 0.1. You have a door. So now it won't actually work yet. What you'll notice that happens is you'll just bump into these and nothing will happen. So what we're going to do here is in the box collider on our trigger, we're going to enable is trigger. Now for this, to make it actually open or disable and enable the door, we're going to have to make a script. So go into your scripts folder, right click, create. You can name this whatever. I'm going to name it trigger 1. Just open that. Alright, now that we're in here, you can get rid of all this. And now what you're going to do, you're going to do public game object door. Now you're going to do public void on trigger here, and collider space other. Now do the when you want to get the curly brackets, put them on, click enter, and you're pretty much done. So now when you enter the collider, nothing will happen yet. But if we do door set active and do false and put a colon at the end, now we save. So go into trigger, apply the script, then your door, drag it onto there, and you're pretty much done with that. Now click play, go into trigger, the door deletes. So you can also, another thing I like to do is you can do public full enabled, you can just do open. So then you can change false to open. Now what this does is you can change this inside the script. So this button right here, open, if this is set to true, then when you hit the trigger, the door will just stay open or stay shut like this, how it is right now. But if you have it closed, it'll return to normal. So I'll show you guys. Alright, so right now it is disabled, so when I touch the trigger, it's going to close. But if I turn it on, touch the cube, the door is going to be enabled. That's how to open and close the door of the cube. Now there is also a better way. So an error you might be finding is if your trigger, your cube, is in the ground like that, or like say you want like it to be a proximity door, you have it like this, and that like that. So when you enter this, you want it to do that, like open the door. So a problem you're probably going to be facing is when you load the game, the door is going to be disabled. The way to fix this is you go into your player, go up here to tags, you click player. Now what we can do is go back into our script, drop down to here, I'm going to do if other by compare tag, then parentheses player, and then do the curly brackets, drop down. And what you can do is drag your door.setOpen script there. And if it ends up doing this thing where it's at like line 0, you can just click tab 2-3 times, and that's pretty much it. So now if you load into the game, all right, so what we have right here is a cube without a tag. So when it enters our trigger, right, which is right here, change it so it's easier to see. When it enters it, nothing's gonna happen. It's because we added that tag, so it just looks for a object with that tag. But if we were to grab our player, bring him over here, our player in here, the door is gonna shut. That's pretty helpful because, you know, unless you want it to be for everything, which I don't know who would, you know, not really that good. But yeah. Also, another thing, if you want your trigger to be invisible, go up here to mesh render and just disable that and it'll go away. All right, so now what I'll show you to do is play an animation when you hit a trigger. So for this, you can get your cube, you can get your other trigger, you can duplicate this. I'm gonna duplicate it. This is our second stuff, so you can just name this door 2 or whatever you want. It can just be the same, the trigger. So for this, we're actually going to use the trigger 1 script. All right, so we have our door, but we want it to play an animation. So the animation I'm going to be playing is it'll just swing open. But the problem is when you rotate it, it rotates like this. You know, it doesn't open like an actual door. What we can do here is add a empty. Name this hinge. Now what we can do, we gotta move the hinge to nearly the end of the door like that. And what you can do, grab door 2, put it into hinge. I'm just gonna name this door 2, just so you guys know what I'm doing here. I'm gonna name this back piece. Now what happens when we grab door 2 and rotate, it actually rotates like this instead of the middle. So this is pretty helpful with making a good looking door animation. Now what you want to do, you want to go to the animation tab here. And if you don't see this, go up here to window, go down to animation, and it'll be right there, animation. Or you can click Control-6. So now what you want to do when you're on here, click create, name this door 2. And then so you want to click this little red dot here, which is the record button. Now what we're going to do is up here, we're going to change this rotation like that and bring it back to 0. The reason we do this is because it creates keyframes, and if we were to just like play an animation right now, like make it where our door wants to go, it's not going to play anything because that turn was the first frame. So that's why we create that, so we have our first frame. Now what you want to do, you can scroll anywhere you want on this timeline. I'm gonna do 1, and you can drag it to wherever you want, and then like that you're pretty much done with your animation. So if you click play right here, or you can click spacebar, see it opens like that. Now you have your little animations here, and for the video organization, I'm going to create another folder in animations. That. Now if we go into materials or whatever folder you were in, drag into animations, now it's more organized. So I'm also going to change loop time off because I do not want my door to loop. Now we grab trigger 2, pull it on over here, go into scripts, duplicate trigger 1, and I'll change to trigger 2. Just go into here, rename that. And then we can pretty much just keep all of this. We don't really need to change it. So Now what we can do, we got to reference the animation. So it's public animation anim1. So you can name this part whatever you want. Now here, just get rid of door that said active open. Go to anim1.play, and then bracket things, colon. That's pretty much it. Really. Now what we can do, instead of having that trigger there, we can go to door 2 right here, add a box flag. And this button right here, click that and you can edit it. So we're just gonna scale it. Might be a little hard to see. This is pretty much your trigger. So you want to click stop editing and then is trigger. Drag your trigger to script. Then drag your door to game object. And then create an animation at door 2 and then disable play automatically. Then you can drag this animation to anim1, save. Now if we play the game, so this over here, okay, so it's playing on its own. So we can go into animations, and we're also getting an error. The animation clip, or in warning, the animation clip door 2 used by the animation on to door 2 must be marked as legacy. So to do this, you want to go up here, make sure you have your animation clip selected, not the controller. Go up here to where this little lock is, click the 3 dots, go to debug, and right here will be legacy. So you can just activate that. Then you can go back to normal, and over here you can just put whatever. I'm gonna leave it on default. But then we're getting another error. This one's the old one. Another error. It says legacy animation clips are not allowed to controllers. So what we want to do, go here, door 2. This is our controller. We're not using it right now, so we can just delete that. And all of our errors should go away when we play. As you see, our door is here, and when we walk into it, it opens. It's also up here in door 2 animator. You did that. Now you have your working door, the animator door. So now what we're going to work on is making a sound play when we enter a trigger. So this one is also pretty easy, so I'm just going to drag the door to the side here. Add in another block or a cube, whatever part you want. Reset it, drag it back over here, change its height to 0.5. And we have this, so just enable is trigger. Now for this is why I did the audio. It's if you want to add sound. So I'm just going to get a sound. I have a click noise. So I have this click noise here. So now, go in here, go back into scripts, name this whatever you want. I'm gonna name it trigger 3. And what we're gonna do for this one, we can actually just go into our old trigger, copy it, paste it into here, rename this top part, and then get rid of anim1 play. You can also get rid of all this. This would be audio source. And then that's it. You head back in the Unity, go into your cube, and rename that trigger 3, or whatever you want. Drag in your trigger 3, and it'll show you with the sound 1 thing. And if you click, you don't see your sound. That's because it is a audio source. So what to do here, you want to go into audio, click noise, and you can just drag it into trigger 3. Now you'll see it right here. You can change all the settings in here. It doesn't really matter. I'm gonna keep it how it is. Then you can drag audio source into here. Now if we click play, so we ran into the problem. It played the audio automatically. This is an easy fix. You just gotta go to trigger 3, audio, and then play on awake, turn that off. Now if we go to our cube, it'll play the click noise. And it'll just keep doing this. And yeah, that's how you make the click noise.